I hated New England Tom Brady. I despised him greatly. I thought he was the devil. But now that he's gone to Tampa and, he's had some success there and he's opened up a little bit more, I don't really mind him anymore. And I kind of like him. And I hate to admit that, but it's true. Like, as long as he's not in New England, he can keep winning Super Bowls as long as he wants.
This is Big Man Bets, the first ever Big Man Bets episode. You are a part of history right now. This is the football show that's going to cover the hot topics. We're going to give you your gambling fix as well. And we're going to protect you because look at my guys right here. Let's bring them in. Nick Mangold, Orlando Pace, straight out of both Kettering, Ohio for you, Nick, and Sandusky, Ohio, the Ohio State University, a Super Bowl champion, 7-time Pro Bowler, Orlando. The Pro Football and College Football Hall of Fame. 7-time Pro Bowler yourself, Nick. And 225,000 Twitter followers, Nick Mangold. You are popular in social media. Welcome, gentlemen, to the first ever episode. I know you're feeling the excitement right now. I can see it.
I love the Twitter followers.
These are our people. We got 7 big topics in our lineup to start today. We'll get to all the games of the first weekend of the season for 2021. And we'll also take a little look at college football as well as we peek at the Heisman race, which is off and running. Let's start with a guy you both are incredibly familiar with. You both played against him, of course, in Tom Brady. Orlando, you lost to him in 2001. Brady, by the way, was a rookie in 2000. So, Orlando, you beat him to the league. Nick, you, of course, jumped in 2006. So here we go with Tom going for a back-to-back. I mean, should he have just retired and gone out on top? I mean, really, what were the chances you were going to go down to Tampa, make it Tampa, and win it? Nick, I guess I'll start with you here. Should he have walked out, or is it just, hey, maybe he should just play until he's 50 years old?
I mean, the way he's going right now, he might as well play till he's 50. And it's funny. I hated New England Tom Brady. I despised him greatly. I thought he was the devil. But now that he's gone to Tampa and, he's had some success there and he's opened up a little bit more, I don't really mind him anymore. And I kind of like him. And I hate to admit that, but it's true. Like, as long as he's not in New England, he can keep winning Super Bowls as long as he wants.
Orlando, do you like him?
You know what? I agree with Nick to a point. When, obviously he beat us in 2001 for that Super Bowl that kind of started that Patriots dynasty. So I didn't like him for a number of years. But then just watching him over the past couple of years, and when he went to Tampa, and you're sitting there thinking, I've been retired for 10 years. He beat us in 2001, and this guy's still winning championships. Nothing but the ultimate respect for a guy like that who could still play at a high level the way he's played and win championships. And everybody thought it was Belichick who had the secret sauce with New England. And to come to find out, it's Tom who has that championship swagger, and he took it down to Tampa.
I love that you just went into that argument of who was more important, Belichick or Brady. It's always bothered me. Like, of course, it's the player over the coach. Come on. Does anybody want to argue? Do you want to have a rebuttal for that, Nick?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think Tom and Bill were the perfect storm. I think those two coming together at the time that they did made it work. Do I think Bill's a great coach? Yes. I went against him for 11 years. I know, what his teams do. And so I think as a whole, he's a great coach. I think Tom is also unworldly, where he's just amazingly good. So the fact that those two came together at the exact same time, I think created that perfect storm that got him there. And I think the big test this year is how the Patriots do with a rookie QB. It will be a good testament to, what Bill is able to do.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second, but I want to bring in the connection of Tom to you two because Orlando, you guys were 14-2. That team was the greatest show on turf. You were a 14-point favorite in the Super Bowl. I'm really digging in here. And that was the biggest upset in the Super Bowl since Super Bowl III, Nick, when the Jets beat the Colts 16-7. You didn't know that we were going to go down that road here on Big Man Bets, but look at that connection right there.
Yeah, it was, obviously we didn't know at the time. We're thinking, oh, he's a backup quarterback, Tom Brady. Who is this guy? He's a 6th-round pick. We're going to roll our hats out here, win by 21 points easy and be celebrating in the fourth quarter. But obviously they came out and to Bill Belichick, obviously his scheme against us, he was dropping 8 back, rushing 3 to try to slow down our passing attack. It worked. They almost ran out of gas. I joke with those guys at the end. Once we made our adjustments as an offense, obviously Adam Vinatieri kicks that field goal that sends us back to the locker room crying. But, it was a great game. Losing the Super Bowl was tough. But that started Tom's dynasty and the Patriot way and all that. So,
y'all picking Tampa this year, back to back?
You know what? I'm not. I think it's. I know the year we won it in 1999, 2000. Obviously it's tough because every week in and week out, you're going to get every team's best shot. Everybody's going to be gearing up to beat Tom in Tampa, and then some of those guys, they health is a key factor to that too. So hopefully they stay healthy, but it's so tough to repeat in the NFL because the grind of another 16-week season and taking everybody's best shot.
Yeah, I'm not taking it. I know you should never bet against Tom Brady because it gets you in trouble, but I just think the magic in a bottle twice is just going to be impossible. I don't know. I mean, like Orlando was saying, injuries are going to come and play a part. And so that's going to be a big thing. And you get everyone's best shot. I just don't see him repeating. It would be a shock to me.
All right, let's move on topic 2, and we're going to go over to Nick's Jets. And it's been super interesting. Zach Wilson was the worst quarterback in the history of football. They made a huge mistake, and now there's a lot of excitement about Zach and his partnership with a new head coach and Robert Saleh. You got a rookie head coach. You've got a rookie quarterback. You had the same thing in Arizona with Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. You got the same thing going on in Jacksonville with Urban. Of course, the Jets, by the way, have not made the playoffs in. That would be 10 years. Nick, we both have seen rookie quarterbacks come in, but maybe we dial back to the Jets, and here comes this new toy in Mark Sanchez, and here's a rookie QB with a lot of expectations and playing in New York. Let's throw that in there. I mean, how much pressure is it extra being that high pick and also playing for a Jets team that is starving for something good?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a ton of pressure being here in New York. And, I think when you look back to a similar situation with Rex and Sanchez, they came into completely different teams. Sanchez had a fantastic team around him, myself included, obviously. But we were very close to having success in 2008 with Brett Favre, and then having the injury. So that was a very veteran team that was very solid grounding for him, where it was kind of just don't mess it up and we'll be fine. I don't know what this team is that Zach's coming into. They have some good pieces. The defense looks pretty decent, but with a shortened preseason, only having 3 games, you don't get to see a lot. They rested the 3rd game, so really only 2 games of real action. It's going to be interesting, and I don't know what's going to happen. I do love the excitement of a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback coming together here in New York. You want good things, but I think there is a ton of pressure, and I hope that they're managing it inside the building where, hey, listen, you don't have to win every game for us. You just need to keep improving, and if they do that, they'll be okay. I don't expect a lot for this season. I'm expecting more in year 3 or 4.
Orlando, do you make anything out of the rookie head coach and rookie quarterback? I'll give one stat here. I mean, if you go back to 1970, teams that started with a coach with no head coaching experience and a quarterback with no starting experience, they made the playoffs 4 times. That's a high bar for the Jets this year. But hey, that division it's interesting right now, at least. What do you make of the head coach who's never done it before, along with a rookie QB?
I think it's a recipe for a tough season. Obviously, it'll be some growing pains, both on the quarterback and the head coach, just because they haven't done it before. Obviously, they're walking into a situation where now it becomes your job as a rookie quarterback to lead a team and be a leader. And there's so many different things that's happening in his world. And then a new coach. He's not familiar with running his own scheme, running his own team, the players, everything that comes along with that. Could make for a tough season. The best thing that they could do is have some veteran guys on their team and then have some veteran coaches on their staff to help get them through that season. But for the most part, to your point, 4 teams have made it since 1970 or something. It's going to be tough treading for the Jets and Jacksonville as well. So.
Yeah, and we can jump right there. Let's look at Trevor Lawrence, the #1 overall pick. And, of course, Orlando, you were a #1 pick back in the day with the St. Louis Rams. And, I mean, look, Trevor, everybody knew he was going to be in this position for a long, long time. Interesting training camp battle with Gardner Minshew, of course, has now gone to Philly. But what kind of pressure being that #1 guy? You're the best player coming in. We want immediate success. Orlando, do you think he's feeling all of that?
Oh, absolutely. But if you're the #1 player and he's been touted, in this position for probably 2 or 3 years now, the expectations are higher. But I would imagine, like myself, he has high expectations for himself and wants to go out there and have success as a quarterback in that organization. I think it's important for them to put the pieces around him for him to have success with receivers, offensive line, everybody that they can to have to go out there in that first year and not take a ton of sacks and get beat up, but go out there and play really good football. And Urban Meyer has to put him in that situation where he can make some plays and have success.
Nick, would you rather be a Jet or a Jaguar right now?
I mean, obviously I'm going to stick with my Jets, but I do, being the first overall pick, on a personal side, I'm glad that Trevor's down in Jacksonville and not New York. We've heard so much more about, I think, Zach Wilson, the #2 pick, than we have Trevor. And I think that's the main reason between New York and Jacksonville. He's able to kind of hide down there a little bit. And, I hope that gives him a little bit less pressure. Obviously, he has it within Jacksonville and within the organization. But I think nationally, he's in a much better spot just for media and limiting his exposure where, Zach is getting thrusted into you're the media capital of the world, New York City. And so it's going to be interesting to see how those two go, 1 and 2, both starting rookies, and see how those teams end up.
Orlando, you want to fight back and say the St. Louis media was super tough? It says, hey, don't sleep on Rams/Cardinal/ middle of America nation.
No. Trust me, Trevor Lawrence will have a much easier road in terms of the media, opposed to having 10 guys at your presser, and in New York, Zach will have 30 or 40 guys asking him, hey, why'd you throw that pass the way you threw that pass? And, and the pressure that in that media market in New York can ruin some guys if you're not strong enough. Obviously, Trevor, with all the high expectations, he's in a much better spot because the media pressure is a quarter of what it can be in New York.
Nick, you did a good job getting that media on your side, probably because you played well, but you must have had some other strategy as well.
I just tricked them. That's all I can do. I played Jedi mind tricks, the little magic. The next thing you know, they were eating out of my hand.
Well done. Well done. Hey, let's look at the rookie of the year. And I know it's super early. We haven't seen any games. Looking forward to the Bucks and the Cowboys getting it going here. But, look, all pressure on the quarterback. And 3 guys are getting an opportunity out of the gates here in Trevor, who we mentioned, and Zach, and also Mac Jones, who's going to start in New England. That was an interesting development. You guys have watched these guys play in college. Does anybody jump out at you on the offensive side of the ball? Or maybe, you might want to look at a running back like Najee Harris or perhaps Kyle Pitts. There's a lot of bloom around him coming in as well.
For me, I'm a little biased, obviously, and I don't know if Nick was going with this pick as well. Justin Fields in Chicago, I think he's in a prime position to have success. It's just a matter of time when they put him in that starting lineup, he'll have success. They have a great defense that can protect a young quarterback like Justin. He has some really good attributes in terms of getting out of the pocket, making some throws, and just everything that I watched this preseason. He seemed like he's gotten better from his last snap at Ohio State. Obviously, in that national championship game, but he seemed like he's improved his passing, and he's a heck of an athlete. So I can't wait to watch him play this season.
Yeah, I agree. Chicago does have that fantastic defense, and it's a great spot for him. And so I'm excited for when he gets his chance to go. The other one I'm looking at is Mac Jones. New England does have a great defense as well. And I think with Bill's coaching, he could be put in a pretty good situation. So between those two, and I hate, picking anybody for New England. It does me dirty, but I think Mac Jones is probably in one of the best positions to be successful as a rookie.
Defensively, does anyone excite you? Patrick Surtain out of Alabama is getting some serious love. He's got pick 6 in the preseason. J.C. Horn, he covered literally everyone at South Carolina, which is interesting. Micah Parsons is being counted on down in Dallas. There's a Big Ten guy for you out of Penn State. Anybody excite you defensively?
Yeah, I like the Parsons kid out of Penn State, man. I think he had a great college career. I think he could have some success. He's a fast linebacker. Obviously they put him in a position to either rush or cover. He could do it all. So looking forward to see, his progress and how well he does. I remember watching a few games last year in the Big Ten, and obviously he did really well. So excited to see. He's probably the front runner along with Surtain.
See, I'm not as nice as Orlando. I don't care for defense, so I do not care what those people do over there. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to look at them. So I'm going to shy away from anything defensively because I just don't care about them.
Go ahead.
Notice I didn't go anybody defensive line. I went linebacker, maybe a cornerback, guys that we don't see that often. Obviously defensive lineman is the no-go for me too.
Oh yeah, no-go. Definitely not.
That's the honesty you're going to get on Big Man Bets. Thank you for tuning in, and keep it right here, by the way, as we move to your Rams, Orlando. Look, you play with Kurt Warner when he won an MVP. Lot of juice around Matthew Stafford. He's finally out of Detroit. You give him a chance of having perhaps leading the Rams to a Super Bowl and winning an MVP. That would be wild, but perhaps it's on the table for him. The dude's super talented.
Yeah, I'm excited about my Rams this year. I think Sean McVay has done a really good job. Now he's an offensive-minded coach. Now he has his quarterback that he went out and grabbed, and they made a big deal to bring him into the fold. It's probably the most talent that he's played with outside of Calvin Johnson in terms of their receiving core. Offense is those weapons out there that he'll be playing with this year. And then with the play calling to McVay, it's really a perfect recipe only if we can keep him healthy. I know he struggled with some back issues in the past and staying healthy in the past, but I really want to see him on a good team where he could really showcase some of the tools that he has in terms of his arm strength and his ability to throw the ball. So excited to see what he's going to be able to do this year under that high-powered offense.
You buy him, Nick?
I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued. I'm not buying it as much. I don't. Even in Detroit, having Calvin Johnson, where you just throw it anywhere and he'd catch it for you. They never seem to get over the hump. And so I don't know. I like him as a guy, but I don't think he's that elite quarterback that we all want him to be. And we all blame Detroit, but I think, now the stint with the Rams, it's going to kind of show that he's kind of middle of the road quarterback, and which is fine. He's made a great career out of it, made a bunch of money. But I don't know if he has it to put it over the hump.
This is our first show, and so I'm learning you guys, but I could just tell with the look on Nick's face that he was not buying Matthew Stafford. Like, this is no. This is too much noise on a guy who did not win enough, and it's got to be partly his problem. All right, hey, let's look at the blind side, Orlando, and then we'll get to snaps, Nick, for you. But when you look at the quarterbacks this year, rookies, vets, Whose blindside do you think you really need to protect the most, that just absolutely has to have, everything going well for him to have success? And on the other side, like who do you need to protect the least?
You know what? I'll say this, and I'm not a huge Steelers fan. I do like Mike Tomlin, but Big Ben is one of those guys that probably needs the protection the most. And I say that because I know they lost 2 or 3 offensive linemen, and he's an aging quarterback. That is not a good combination for somebody who's late in his career, who just lost their left tackle, one of their guards. So I would say he probably needs the protection the most. I would say, just from that standpoint, and I would say the least. That's a tough one. Lamar Jackson probably. Obviously, because Lamar is one of those guys that's going to run even if it breaks down. A defensive end gets loose or something like that, he'll make a play. And also Patrick Mahomes, who's special with the ball and what he can do with the ball. So those 2 guys probably need protection the least because they get rid of it so quick. But I think Big Ben out in Pittsburgh, losing those offensive linemen, he needs a lot of protection.
Nick, let's get under center here. Whose hands would you love to have just right under your old butt there and getting ready for there it is. Who would you love to be snapping the ball to this year?
I think for me, it would be a lot of fun to snap the ball to Aaron Rodgers. I think his moxie, his swag, I think he's got a very dry humor, which would be a lot of fun. I had the opportunity to play with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who also had that sense of dry humor, and he was an old man as well. And so, that was a lot of fun. And I think Aaron Rodgers would just take it, 2 steps further. He's also, slinging it down the field, but making jokes along the way. And I think that would be a riot.
Y'all buying Green Bay?
Ooh. It's a tough one for me. I know Rodgers was a little bitter this offseason. I don't know if that'll spill over into the regular season in terms of his attitude towards the organization. I don't think that last presser was a good indication of what this season will be. I know they were trying to kiss and make up, and it didn't. I know it wasn't believable for me. So it'll be a wait and see approach for me to see how well they do this season.
You just can't bet against Aaron Rodgers. So, I think even with all the issues with the organization, I still think he cares about his teammates and his coaches. And, that's enough for me to say, Green Bay is still going to be at the top.
Well, that's a perfect transition into our pick segment. We've got 6 games on the board for you. We'll get to the Packers in a second, but let's start with the Steelers and the Bills. Maybe the last season of Big Ben. I think that feels about right, but we'll see. Buffalo is a 6.5-point favorite. Josh Allen, incredible year last year. He went from 24th to 4th in quarterback ranking. That was a hell of a jump, and he got paid for it. Are we buying the Bills? Minus 6.5 here. How do you think this starts out for the Steelers in Buffalo?
I 6.5. You got to win by a touchdown. I don't think that's going to happen in the first game here. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think you're knocking the rust off of both offenses. So I'm taking Pittsburgh plus 6.5. But I still think the Bills are going to win.
I agree. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think defensive battles on both ends. Both defenses are back. And normally the offense is at this stage of the season. So I look for a low-scoring defensive battle, and I got the Bills winning as well, close one.
All right, let's do Arizona and Tennessee. By the way, the Titans are my sleeper Super Bowl pick. Julio coming over. Let's go, Derrick Henry. Come on, Ryan Tannehill. They're a 3-point favorite against Arizona, who a lot of people have out of the playoffs. First game, by the way, for J.J. Watt. Anybody got the Cardinals here? Anybody want to step up and say they can cover the 3 at least, or maybe even beat the Titans on the road?
I think it's going to be a blowout between Brown and Jones, Julio, that new pickup they have, man, and Derrick Henry in the backfield. They're going to be a tough team to beat this year, especially early on in Tennessee.
Yeah, I like the Titans in this one. I don't like West Coast teams traveling east. And this one's starting out that way. First game of the season, and the power that the Titans have offensively, but then also the mind of Vrabel and his defense. I think it's going to be too much for him.
Let's move on to Ohio. By the way, I should know this, but were you guys Browns or Bengals fans growing up, or neither?
I was more of a Browns fan. I'm Northern Ohio. I know I was more of a Browns fan, and obviously John Elway broke my heart a few times there with the drive, and Ernest Bonner with the fumble. So I remember all those things. I'm scarred as a kid watching the Browns.
Well, I had the Bengals, and I'm just as scarred. That 49ers game was terrible. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, you just went right into my childhood, Sam Weish, and I actually felt bad for the Browns. I think everybody did, even though I grew up in Chicago as a Bears fan. Which, by the way, thank you for your 1 year in Chicago, Orlando. But all right, the Browns are playing Kansas City. The Chiefs are a 6.5-point favorite. KC, though, they were 6-2 at home last year for the record, but they only covered 3 of those games. And second half last year, they weren't covering much at all. Nick, let me start with you here. Can Cleveland cover 6.5?
No, I'm riding the Chiefs on this one. I think Patrick Mahomes coming back, he's already said that he wants to be, even better than he's ever been. So I think he put that work in this offseason. They've made some good moves. I think it's going to be a blowout at home. And so I'm taking the Chiefs minus 6.5.
Orlando?
Yeah, same here. Even though I'm my childhood Brown fan, I think they will have a great year. Just week 1 will be a tough one for them. Going to Kansas City, facing that high-powered offense, it could be a rout. I'm going with the Chiefs as well.
All right, to New Orleans we go. Well, specifically Jacksonville, and prayers for everybody who been dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. They had to move the game for the Packers and the Saints, which made a lot of sense. Green Bay's a 4-point favorite. We were just touching on them. Saints are missing Michael Thomas. Their offensive line is banged up, and you've got Jameis coming in here. Some people are with Jameis. Some people are not. I actually happen to be with Jameis. But Orlando, what do you think here? Packers are a 4-point favorite.
You know what? I am with Jameis as well, man. And this is my surprise sleeper pick of the week, man. I like the Saints to cover. I think it's going to be a closer game. I actually think they're going to win the game. So I'm going with the Saints.
I'm riding the Jameis train as well. I think LASIK has done wonders for him. It was a big step. But I'm not buying the Saints on this one. Having to deal with the devastation of Ida, moving the game and everything. I think minds are going to be distracted, and the team just isn't going to be ready to play as a whole. So I still like the Packers on this one. I just think especially Aaron Rodgers coming in with all the turmoil over the offseason, wants to prove to everybody that he's right and everyone else is wrong. So I think it's going to be definitely the Packers.
All right, let's do the Bears and the Rams. We'll stay in the NFC North. And Nick, you already dogged Matthew Stafford, but are you bold enough to pick the Bears on the road on Sunday night? It's 7.5. That line keeps moving up. Nobody thinks that the Red Rifle Andy Dalton is walking in there. Or you actually complimented the Bears defense. I'm a little more skeptical, but do they cover 7.5?
No, I do like the Bears defense. I think Justin Fields plays, that would change the game a bit, but rolling in with Andy Dalton is not going to cut it in LA. So I'm riding with the Rams.
Yeah, me too. I think and defensively, Aaron Donald, who's a monster in the middle, Jalen Ramsey on the back end will be trouble for the Red Rifle Andy Dalton there. It'll be, and then obviously get that offense rolling a little bit. I got the Rams to cover.
Did the Bears call either of you guys looking for offensive linemen, because they're picking up 39-year-old guys who are fishing? I won't go down the Bears train right now. All right, let's do the Ravens and the Raiders Monday Night Football. Hey. Welcome to Las Vegas with fans. That'll be sweet. Tickets are very expensive. People are traveling to see their favorite teams going to Las Vegas, which makes a whole lot of sense. But 4.5 point favorite. The Ravens are. Nick, what do you think?
So I'm looking at this one, and I'm shocked that it's only 4.5. I think the Ravens are going to dominate this game. I think the Las Vegas Raiders struggle with home field advantage because no one in Vegas really cares. So you have a bunch of people traveling in to see their team play and to also get a little bit of the Vegas fun. So I think it might be a skewed home game for the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson is going to come out balling. So I'm hammering the Ravens easily at -4.5.
Orlando, you believe in Gruden?
Not so much, man. I think Lamar Jackson will be too much. It'll be a heavy dose of Lamar Jackson and that offense. I know he's ready for a big year, and I don't think they have enough to stop him. That offensive power of Lamar Jackson, that offense.
All right, we've reached the moment of truth here, and this is our bet of the week. Lock it in, and we're going to do a season-long tally. Pace versus Mangold, Mangold versus Pace. We're figuring out exactly what the prize is going to be. I think we might have a trophy, but we're working on that. But Orlando, why don't you go first here? Give us your lock of the week. And yes, again, we will be keeping track, and the pressure is officially on. Go ahead.
My lock of the week is Kansas City over the Cleveland Browns. I think they'll just come out and just high-powered offense. Opening day, Patrick Mahomes, everybody's back. They're better from last year. They didn't get a chance to win that chip again. So that's my lock of the week.
Feel like you're just talking to young Orlando and some moments that are of hurt that you still are getting to unlock.
Yeah, I haven't quite bought into the Browns yet, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Nick, what do you got?
Well, I got a point of order here. Are we going just money line, or are we going spread?
I think we got to put the spread in here if we're going lock of the week. This is the high power pressure moment here. We can't. There's no easy way out.
I got it. Like I was saying, I think the line is ridiculous. So I'm running with it. I'm taking the Ravens -4.5 over the Raiders. I just don't see that being close, and so that's my lock of the week. Lock it in. I'm going 1-0 this week.
And then that allows you to enjoy the weekend too. You wait all the way till Monday night. The excitement builds. There we go. All right. Ravens and the Chiefs are our locks, as again, keeping track, and it'll be a lot of fun to see who comes out on top on this one. College Corner. Yeah, there you go. There we go. All right, let's look at the Heisman, guys. We got week 1 is in the books. Some have like DJ Uiagalelei was supposed to be the guy, but he went 19 of 37, lost to Georgia, so that's out. Spencer Rattler, Oklahoma, 30 of 39. Bryce Young threw 4 touchdowns versus the U for Alabama. CJ Stroud, if we want to go Buckeyes, feel free. He was around 10-1, depending on where you look at the bets. And by the way, all our betting, go to WinBet. And yes, that is where we get all our betting for big man bets, WINNBET.com. Picks on the Heisman. Who's jumping out at you, if anyone?
This is the way too early Heisman selection right here, right? After week 1, which is tough. I think the favorite going into it is Bryce Young. Obviously, just what he's done in Alabama this past week against Miami, throwing 4 touchdowns was, obviously he's going to be in the spotlight week in and week out. He has some weapons on the outside, big offensive line up front of him. So if he just continues to play that well, he's the way too early favorite to win the Heisman this year.
I love the way too early because it is so true. The one that intrigues me right now in the way too early is Matt Corral down at Ole Miss. He was for a while there. I think he was plus 3,000 or so, something like that. Don't quote me on the number. But he's moved up to plus 1,000. So I feel like bettors are starting to jump on him. And so at least the top 3, as long as Ole Miss keeps playing well, like they did, now obviously they were against Louisville, which is terrible, but he showed some good things there. I kind of like him as my sleeper top 3. And we'll see how the way too early call goes.
Getting that Lane Kiffin love. I like it off the board. Hey, let's make some real money here. I like it a lot. All right. Pressure's on here, guys. Big bite. Y'all are offensive linemen. This is the moment of truth here. We got one that's got food and one that's just I think fun. But would you rather, is the question, have a teammate compete in the Mayo eating contest, which looks just straight nasty? Although I do like mayo on my sandwiches with a little mustard. Or would you want a teammate eating that mayo, or would you want a teammate doing the milk crate challenge? There's our guy Juju, who got a lot of flack for that. I'm like, he's an NFL player. The dude can do a milk crate challenge, but maybe that's just too risky for you guys right before the season. Would you rather him eating mayo, putting on the weight, or doing the milk crate? Nick, you're shaking your head, so go ahead. You're having a reaction.
Yeah, the milk crate challenge is so stupid. Like, I've seen so many videos of people, damn near breaking their back. Like it's just stupid. So for me as a teammate, I'd much rather see some guy eat way too much mayo and just throw up and be done with it. Whereas you do the milk crate challenge, you fall off, you break your ankle, you're out for the season. That one's easy for me. Because I mean, I don't know who started that, but it is so absurd. It's ridiculous.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Nick. First of all, where are all these milk crates coming from? Like, I haven't seen milk crates in years. And all of a sudden, they're just popping up at Walmart for sale or something, man. Where are all these crates coming from? But to your point, man, people are getting seriously injured doing this milk crate challenge. And I wouldn't want one of my teammates to break a back, ankle, whatever, concussion, whatever it might be, trying to do that dumb challenge, man. So take the mail down and that's it for me.
So just for clarity's sake, if given the choice between the two, you guys would do the Mayo challenge?
Oh no, I'm doing neither. I'm not doing either of them. But for a teammate, I'd much rather see him, just pound mayo, which sounds disgusting. I mean, I'm not in favor of that one either, but at least they would just, they'd have an upset stomach for a little bit, where you do the milk crate challenge and, like we said, you break a back, break an ankle, blow out your knee, you're done for the year. So I'd much rather a teammate do the mayo. I am doing neither of them, guaranteed.
Neither.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Gentlemen, we have done it. The first ever episode of Big Man Bets. We're going to be with you every single 17 weeks of your new NFL schedule. By the way, do you guys mind the extra week in the season? Was it not enough for you all to have to get ready 16 times? Nick, weren't you on Friday wearing your robe and walking around Jets facilities with your slippers and getting massages and drinking tea to get through the season? Orlando, I'm sure you were doing your own thing here, but
absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, Friday was spa day. You had to get yourself right, get the body right, ready to go for Sunday. Adding an extra game, I'm not a fan of it as a player. As a fan, pretty excited to have another game to watch and enjoy. So I see both sides, but the player side of me hates it.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, we are here, week one. You waited all off season for it. Looking forward to seeing what everybody who we teed up today, especially Thursday night, and if can Tampa get off to a good start. But the rest of it, hey, the Rams on Sunday night, the Jets with an interesting matchup against your former quarterback, by the way, which he never got the best of it in New York, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a tough one. I'm intrigued to see how he looks. Like I want the Jets to win, but as a player, I want to see Sam do well.
And by the way, good luck to your Buckeyes this weekend. I don't really mean that, but I'll say it anyway because it's it's your show. It's Big Man Bets. Hey, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it, and we will see you next week.